What's up, you guys? It's Didi Richards here again from down under here in Sydney, Australia. It is finally game week. I'm so tired of playing against each other. I feel like everybody understands the beginning ages of like training camp whenever you're constantly playing against each other. So I'm super excited. Again, I feel like I haven't played in years, so I'm so excited to finally be feeling good body-wise. I'm so sad I had to miss this episode, but for sure you guys will see me next week on Wednesday. And I hate it because I wanted to talk about everything we literally talked about, especially James Harden. Like, what the heck is going on? But I'm happy that he's going home. Also, the lineup for me is insane to even think about, with Kawhi Leonard, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Paul George. Like, what? I don't know. I'm just happy for James, and I hope that this is his final stop and they can get what they finally deserve. But, like, secondly, something else that I really wanted to talk about was definitely Cooper Flagg. I'm just obsessed with his name. Like, his parents did such a great job naming him. Like, Cooper freaking Flagg is his name. Like, that's his real name on a birth certificate. His marketing team is going to have a ball marketing his name. It's going to be so easy, on top of him already being the 6'8" phenomenon that he is at Duke. Like, what? So I could not wait to, peel that back about Cooper Flagg, but I know that my co-hosts are really doing a great job doing it, and I can't wait to hear everything that they say about it, and I can't wait to talk to you guys next week on the 3on3 podcast. Thank you guys for listening to me. See you guys next week.
Welcome to the 3on3 podcast. It's your boy, Chris Williamson. Got my girl, Terrika Foster Brasby here with me. And we got 3 juicy ass topics for y'all for this 3rd episode. And Terrika, before we get into like all these different elements that have a lot of drama and spice to it, how was your weekend? Was it good?
My weekend was amazing. This is my favorite time of year because I'm a Halloween freak nerd, love it. So I did a couple Halloween parties this weekend. I was chilling. I dressed up as a student from Slytherin House. So if there are any Harry Potter fans out there, I was definitely representing the House of the Serpent. Kind of is what it is. But yeah, all in all, I had a great weekend. How about you?
I had a great weekend until I found out that you dressed up as somebody from Slytherin, because in this apartment complex, we are a household of Gryffindor.
Okay, so you conform to societal norms. Got it.
Hell nah, bro. We the chosen ones, okay? Harry Potter all day. Oh man. But it wouldn't be Terrika. It wouldn't be you if you didn't do something that would be like going against the grain, where you're kind of, hated a little bit and villainized.
Got to.
Yeah, so I respect that there. But you know who I dressed up as? I dressed up as Christopher Williamson, and then a sports anchor. I know, very boring. My wife did. She did all the. She did. Usually I do pedestrian, right? Because hey, I'm not wearing anything. I'm not doing anything special. I let my wife do it. She dressed up as Aaliyah, so that was pretty cool to see her do that. Yeah, that was fresh. But for me, I ain't do nothing. I do nothing at all.
I ain't surprised, Chris. Chris, what man? Just ruining Halloween. Well, Thanksgiving's coming up, guys. Maybe we'll get Chris excited about that.
Well, hold up. Where's your candy corn, though? You supposed to bring the candy corn on, because we taped this.
It's because I ate it. It's because I already ate it. It doesn't exist right now.
You should have an unlimited supply of candy corn.
I came across a video, though, for real. I came across a video that I recorded like a year ago, and it's so funny, and I plan on sharing it. Well, I'm going to share it I shared it for Halloween. So there's that. This will be out after the video has been shared. So y'all will have seen the video to know what I'm referencing.
Okay.
About candy corn. Yes.
Stay tuned for that, y'all. Stay tuned for that. You know what, though, Terrika? I want to tell you something that I had to find out. I don't want to say the hard way, but in the NBA, I find out that James Harden's ass gets traded to the Clippers during after dark hours, during booty call hours, right? And you were the one who broke the news, really, right? because you put it in our group chat. I woke up at like 6:45 this morning to like 19 messages from our podcast group chat. And I'm thinking, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
And what the hell is going on? And then, of course, James Harden has indeed been traded to the Clippers, 10-time All-Star guard so it's PJ Tucker, James Harden, Philip Petrusev, for Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nicola Batum, KJ Martin, a 2028 unprotected first rounder, 2 second-round picks, a 2029 pick swap, and an additional first rounder. That to me is wild. Not so much the players, that the Sixers got, but the picks. Like all those picks.
Yeah.
For this version of James Harden. What? Terrika, help me out here.
And I was like, holy crap, I need to drop this in the group chat because I already knew we were going to talk about what James Harden was doing. So it just was just like, wow, what in the world? Why y'all out here making these type of moves at baby mama hours? Granted, it's with the Clippers, so maybe it was because it was only like 10, 11 o'clock, which is still a little bit too late for, business transactions, but that's neither here nor there. I knew that this was eventually going to happen, and I kind of figured this the moment that Philly lost by 1 to the Bucks. Like, to me, that was the first sign that James Harden was about to lose his leverage if Daryl Morey just didn't do something soon, because it continued to show what I've probably been saying since the end of last year when he didn't show up in Game 6. And that's, they don't need you, bro. They don't need you. And your self-awareness about how much you are not needed is what's even smaller than the variance of them actually needing you. Like, that's where we are. And so I think that was the first sign that Daryl Morey needed to make a move before his leverage was completely gone. And then the Sixers decided to dismantle Toronto and Portland. So now you have further solidified that there is no need for James Harden on this team. At this point, what I think happened is that Daryl Morey just kind of saw, well, maybe we can make a play for some depth. Because I think if anything in the first few games, the one thing that might have been exposed is that Philly could use a bit more depth in their lineup, right, on their bench. So this was an opportunity for him to kind of do that. And I think that they did that with the pieces that they got in return. Like, I think about Marcus Morris, and I'm like, okay, that's a fair trade for PJ Tucker. Like, that's not the end of the world. That's a fair trade. You're going to get defense out of him. You can get scoring out of him. And he tends to play very well when he goes to a new team, like he got something to prove. So they might get a good version of Marcus Morris in that situation. I like Nick Batum. And it's funny because I purposely call him Batum. I don't know why I do that. It's so funny. But I know it's Nick Batum. But anyway, I like Nick Batum. I think he gives you scoring depth off the bench. He can still launch the three. I think he'll be perfect when you're in rotations and he's able to make the extra passes. So I like that. And I think that the way Nick Nurse is coaching this team, that he'll fit in whatever role Nick gives him. And Robert Covington, like, that's not a bad move either. Now, he's not the defender that he used to be, but right. I mean, he can still give you a defensive option. He can still be resourceful. So I feel like the way that Daryl Morey made these moves was, we good with what we got. Our starting five looks great. We don't need the aggravation of a James Harden and Tyrese Maxey. I said I was on Brother from Another on Friday, and I was talking to Natalie, and I said, Nat, I think Tyrese Maxey is a bona fide star. Like, period. Right? And then what does he do? He goes out there and he balls. He's already averaging like 30 plus points a game. And at the end of the day, the half court offense, I think, for Philly moves so much better without James Harden standing there dribbling the ball for 20 seconds before he decides he want to pass it. Get on my nerves. So with all of that being said, I like the move. I don't think it's like an A+ trade, but when you add what you're getting from a depth perspective to what you already have, and then with the draft picks, I feel like this was a really good move for them.
Yeah, it was a really good move. And I'm confused. Like, they got a lot of forwards, right? Back in that trade with Morris, Covington, Batum, and all that. And then you got KJ Martin. So maybe you need to get some guard depth as well. I like what Kelly Oubre did, especially in that first game against the Bucks. He showed out, especially from 3-point range. But yeah, Tyrese Maxey has been showing that he deserves to be the number 2 guy. Even when James Harden was there, it was like, yo, this dude's a baller. And
Yeah.
he's not afraid of the moment. And he's going to get even more of that shine now that James Harden has got his wish. He's gone to the Clippers, and Sixers fans no longer have to worry about him. Did you see somebody was dressed up, I guess, in a Michael Myers outfit during the Sixers home opener, and Harden was just staring straight at him. It was a really cool, creepy moment. But yeah, it was like, bring me Harden. That's what the sign said. Bring me Harden.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's not like they needed him on the court.
They didn't.
And you couldn't miss him. He had that bright ass green hoodie on. So it was like, I mean, like, bro, it's Halloween. You out here looking like Christmas. This don't make no sense.
And he was having a time with his homeboy PJ Tucker. Like, people talk about, the teammates are frustrated about it or whatever, but PJ, that's his boy. So they always gonna live it up.
Yeah,
and now
they go back to Houston together.
They get to so they got a long history. This has been a long time coming because in the offseason, James Harden asked for a trade. And he was in China during a basketball trip. And people asked him about his thoughts on the Sixers organization. And he was like, Daryl Morey is a liar. And I will never play for an organization that he runs.
Right.
First off, maybe Daryl Morey did lie about, the contract thing, and that he was going to get the deal done when he said it was going to get done. Who knows? Front offices lie all the time. But the fact that James decided to say that publicly, and not just once, Terrika, this man was in a whole ass club, if I remember correctly, with the sign, where they have like "Happy Birthday, Terrika," or "Happy Birthday, Chris." It was like, yeah. Daryl Morey is a liar. What do you think about how James handled his frustration from the time he asked for the trade, the Daryl Morey comments, to not showing up the first day of training camp, coming back, and then of course after he was gone for about 10 days, apparently some reports out there that there was a family issue that he had to deal with. He tries to get back onto the plane so he can suit up against the Bucks. And the Sixers like, nah, bro, you ain't getting on this plane. Like, how does that sit with you? Do you even care? Because, I don't know, man.
So there's a few things, right? So number one, I believe that there might have been something going on personally with his mom, which is, whatever that personal thing is, I hope that it resolves itself in a positive way. So I don't know if she was sick or what it was. I think the reports were that his mom was ill, but either way it goes, much love and prayers out to whatever it is that she's dealing with. And I get that I am someone who also puts family before everything else. So if something's wrong with my mama, y'all gotta wait. That's just how it is, right? But I think the difference is because there is such a lack of respect for each other in this organization, or at least a respect on his end, that maybe those details were purposely not told or purposely left out. So he probably, Daryl Morey and whoever didn't know what was going on. And if he did, he chose to be like, I don't care. Again, I think the lack of respect between those two people is what made that situation the way it was. But overall, I feel like it's continually unacceptable the way that James Harden puts himself out there like this, because this ain't the first time he did this. He wanted to leave Houston so bad. Oh, Houston, I want to leave Houston. I want to go and team up with Kyrie and Kevin Durant in Brooklyn. So he leaves, forms a quote-unquote super team out there that really didn't amount to anything. It was so much drama. People barely played. Then there's the Ben Simmons saga. And now Kevin Durant out here looking crazy because two of the people who you came to play with are now not playing. At the time, Kyrie wasn't playing. James Harden was injured. There was just so much shit going on with that what did James Harden do? Once again, for the second time, force himself out of a team because he wanted to go to Philly. He wanted to play with Philly. Oh, I want to play with Embiid. Oh, Daryl Morey's your homeboy. You want to link up with your homeboy. That shit, like, now he's a liar. But a year ago, this was your homeboy. You was cool. You couldn't wait to go and play with him or whatever. this is what he does. And you know what makes it so bad is the fact that what I opened this segment with saying, there is a lack of self-awareness that you are not that dude anymore, James. You just not. So you forcing yourself to go to all these different places for you to just basically to just basically regurgitate the same behavior that you had the first damn time. I'm so happy he's going to LA. You're going home. Maybe you got family there. Maybe you got friends there. Because I think it's dope that this whole Kawhi, PG, Russell Westbrook, all y'all are Southern California guys. Love that. Y'all are representing the home team. Love that. But maybe when you go home, there is somebody there who can sit you down and tell you the truth about yourself and say, bruh, you not the shit no more, bro. You need to cut it out. Like maybe somebody there can relay this message to him because he acting like he's still a top tier guard in this league and he's not. That's the problem. Like everybody's trying to win a championship. That's the entire point of everyone in the association. Everyone.
Well, hold up now. Not everybody is.
I'm talking about teams, but I'm talking about players. I don't believe there's a single player playing in the NBA right now who don't want to win a championship.
You don't believe that, Terrika?
No, hell no. You know what?
Terrika,
There's not a player in the NBA who just be like, you know what? I'm just good being here. Like, no, you want to win. You know realistically whether or not you'll be able to win based on the team that you play for. But I don't think there's people in the league who just be like, I'm good if I never win a championship. Like, what? No, I don't believe that.
I don't know. It's a new age. It's a new era to me. That's all I'm gonna say. I've heard some things. I forget the player mentioned it, but they were on a podcast and they're like, yeah, I learned how some players, they really don't like basketball. You know, they don't like basketball.
I can believe that, but that doesn't mean that they don't want to win a championship. There's so much shit that comes along with winning an NBA championship. It ain't a player in the league who's like, I'm straight. I don't need a ship. What? You might not get one. You might not be able to contribute to one. Maybe you don't. I can't even officially play in the NBA because I'm a girl and I want an NBA championship. What are you talking about? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, we know you starving for a championship.
I need one. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna tell you who else. You know what? I don't even appreciate the way Chris be coming for me on this podcast, and y'all like listen and don't even be having my back. Y'all don't be on Twitter trying to save me and nothing. Y'all just be letting Chris come for me. I got something for y'all. It's all good though. So Dwight Howard is being sued by a man who alleges that the former NBA star has made inappropriate physical advances at him and coerced him into having sex with another dude, like a third person. So last week, Howard and his team basically denying the assault allegations, but he did admit to consensual activities. And I'm using air quotes when I say consensual because clearly that is what's being tested if those advances or activities was indeed consensual. So since this story broke, it's been several different media outlets and personalities who have mentioned it, but I'm really not so sure that everybody has really covered this responsibly. When I look across social media and I hear various podcasts, I see a bunch of different shows, and they're really making light of these allegations, including Dwight Howard himself. But a lot of these people who are talking about this have really focused more heavily on the gender of the victim and the outing, again, me using air quotes, the outing of Howard. And it's really been leading people to kind of shift their focus from what this case actually is to more so on if there is a right to privacy, if Howard should have the right as a celebrity and as a public figure to have his sexual orientation outed by a situation like this, or if that's something that should have been kept under wraps. And I have plenty of thoughts on this situation, but I'm gonna ask you, Chris, like first, where do you stand on this whole thing? Like, do you feel like Howard's personal privacy was breached? And more so when you first heard about these allegations, because to me, that's where the focus needs to be first and foremost. What were your initial thoughts?
When there's allegations of sexual assault and you are a public figure, hey, that just comes with the territory, right? So I don't think it was breached because there are questions about whether he violated somebody's body, violated somebody's, dignity. And then two, It's like, I don't care who you fuck, right? Who you're having sex with. If you are violating, harming somebody's body, that's the first and only thing that I'm concerned about.
Who cares? Like,
Right.
I don't care about what your label is or isn't or any of that. What I care about is the fact that whoever it is that you decided that you wanted to have a sexual relationship with, you did so potentially without their okay. And
Yeah.
that's problematic. Like, it don't matter who or what your orientation is. You don't be out here touching folks who don't want to be touched. And you certainly
As
don't
simple as
need to
that.
be, you definitely don't need to be adding extra people to the scenario without their consent. So if that's what you did, Dwight Howard, I don't give a damn who it was with. That was wrong. And if that means people get to now know your public business because this person is telling the world that you possibly committed a crime, I don't give a damn if they outing you, quote unquote outing. You keep your hands to yourself if you want your business to be private. That don't make no sense.
Simple as that.
And
Simple
you know,
as that.
what really irks my nerves, Chris, about this whole thing is this is exactly why our LGBTQ plus community brothers and sisters are forever saying y'all don't account for us when we are talking about the struggle and the fight for equality and equity. Y'all don't account for us, because I remember just this summer there was a gay man who was murdered in New York minding his business because he was dancing to Beyonce at a gas station.
Yep. Yep. That
um
was
it's
horrible.
it is continue. We have so many black and brown trans women and men who are missing, who are killed, who are whatever, and you don't hear that. When we're talking about saying people's names, those aren't the names that you hear, right? They're constantly talking about we aren't protected. And so now in this instance, you get a guy who is saying this person assaulted me. And yes, I do believe in due process. So absolutely. But what I'm not going to do is just completely turn a blind eye and go straight to the internet and make jokes. You remember when Trevor Bauer
Yep.
plays baseball? Remember when
Yep.
Trevor Bauer had sexual assault allegations against him? How many people was making jokes? It wasn't a single joke to be found. In fact, there was so much media coverage that every time I turned on anything when it came to baseball, for sure, but even the headline on ESPN or whoever, everything was sexual allegations. Trevor Bauer, well, now he's suspended. Now he's this. Now he's that. I get Dwight Howard not in the league no more, but where's the outrage? There ain't no outrage because they don't care, because it's a man. And
Right.
like, this is the shit that bothers me.
Maybe it was the way I was raised, right, by my mom and dad. But for life to me, I can never understand why the hell people are so worried about who you're sleeping with. That has nothing to do with me. Like, unless you're harming somebody potentially, so I need to look out for you or look out for my sisters or brothers, right? I don't give a damn. That got nothing to do with me. And to your point about how we do not protect the LGBTQ plus community, that is something that needs to be shouted from the mountaintops, right? From the rooftops. Because there are so many times where you see an individual who's gay, right, trans, and something terrible happens to them, whether they're, killed or severely injured, and the outrage does not match when it happens to an heterosexual male or woman, right? It just does not. You mentioned, the man who got killed, for dancing to Beyonce. Um, there wasn't that same level of, we need to protect our men. We need to, fight for them. We need to make sure we have their backs. It's kind of silent. Like, okay,
Yeah,
we're picking and choosing. And that's not okay to me. Like,
yeah, yeah.
we have to, especially as a black heterosexual male, we got to do a much better job of speaking up and voicing our support for the LGBTQ plus community, because they're really the backbones, right? A lot of these movements and a lot of these different phrases that you hear in pop culture. So it's kind of really just spitting in their faces when we're acting the way we are. Like the media as a whole, you brought it up earlier, where people are talking about this could have been a historic moment for the LGBTQ plus community. Like, I'm not concerned about that. I'm sorry. Why is that even a thought in your head? Like, if Dwight just kept his hands to himself, allegedly, okay, maybe, but he violated somebody allegedly. That is the number one thing that we should be talking about. Really, the only thing. And until we are able to come to grips with understanding and not giving a damn about people's sexuality, we're going to see this play out in society more and more because there's just so much ignorance. And I don't know how it can change, Terrika, but it just pisses me off because we've been having this conversation for years now. And you would think after everything that happened with George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, that we would have some sort of consciousness where it doesn't matter who you sleep with, what you do, your occupation. We're going to fight for you because that is what's right. Not what's,
Yeah.
going to be popular, but that's what's right. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I hope that there is some resolution to this, and I definitely want to make sure that we say O'Shea Sibley's name, because if we're going to talk about
Yes, yes.
if we're going to
thank you
talk
for
about
that.
it, we need to make sure that we mention who this kid was and he's just the most public recent occurrence, but definitely not the only occurrence, and probably not the latest, just the last one that we've heard about publicly.
Right.
Because that's how much they are unspoken, and it's truly unfortunate. And as a double minority, as a Black person, and as a woman, it is super difficult to have conversations about sexual assault and domestic violence, as we have previously spoke about on this podcast in the first episode, because athletes don't seem to have to follow the same rules that the rest of the world have to follow when it comes to these situations. And the NBA don't make it easy for us as Black women to be fans of this association when we're constantly seeing players that are either in the news for a domestic situation or in the news for an assault situation, and they continue to go about their daily lives. Now, for whatever reason, Dwight Howard's not on a roster. I'm pretty sure
Right.
there are people who still think that he has the ability to play. I'm pretty sure there might be someone who thinks that he should still be in the league playing for whatever reason. This wasn't a reason that he ain't out there, at least not publicly. Now, maybe a team knew about something that we didn't know. I know that there are teams, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. We might not care as people about what someone's sexuality is, but general managers and teams do care. They care very much about that type of stuff. And that could also be the reason that somebody is not on a roster, and it's not right. I'm not saying that it's right, because it's not. Your sexual orientation should have no bearing on whether or not you are able to play in any league for any sport. But if you're out here touching people who do not ask or deserve or consented to be touched, that is absolutely a reason why you should not be on nobody's roster, because you need to keep your hands to yourself. And if this is true, then it is what it is.
The thing about Dwight Howard, it's like he was even making jokes. Like, he wasn't even entertaining the sexual assault. The fact that he even got up there on his platform and was talking about, all these people, care about who I sleep with and what I do with my job. Like, that just shows me you don't give a damn. You're making light of everything because you're trying to shift the focus. Wow. Cooper Flagg, ladies and gentlemen, the number one basketball prospect in the country for the class of 2024, is going where? To Duke University, baby. He announced that on Monday morning after he reclassified from 2025 to 2024, picking the Blue Devils over the Connecticut Huskies, who, by the way, just won a national championship. This is I won't say he's generational talent, because we often put that label on too many people, but this is the kid who has all the skills. 6'9", 195, a forward who has great playmaking skills, tremendous one-on-one defender, especially, and then also ability to help. He's got elite athleticism from Montverde Academy. I think, Terrika, what you're seeing here is Duke get a prospect that they have not gotten since the likes of, the Zion Williamsons and the Kyrie Irvings, in terms of just like the number one overall recruit and just the overall talent level that he is going to add to this Duke roster. And people are always going to hate about Duke because of the association with Coach K, and it's predominantly white, all that. But I'm all for it as a kid who grew up rooting for the Blue Devils. Shout out Shane Battier, Jason Williams, Chris Duhon, all those guys. But Cooper Flagg, he's gonna make some splashes, like some huge waves before he goes to the NBA draft when he plays for Duke next season.
I know this is a basketball show, but as we discuss Cooper Flagg, I got a flag on the play.
Oh, here we go.
I just have a couple of questions that need answers. That's all.
Okay.
Just a couple of questions that need answers. So, these are very direct questions, Chris. We don't really need much explanation. Just direct question. You care about this story. Why?
Why do I care about this story?
Yeah, why you care about the story? Mm-hmm.
Because the number one recruit that the Duke Blue Devils got.
Yeah, but like if this was the Kentucky Wildcats, would you still be excited?
Not as much.
No, because why? Because why? Go ahead and say it. Why do you care about this story, Chris?
Because I'm a Duke. I'm a Duke.
You're
Blue
a
Devil.
Duke fan. Yeah, you're a Duke fan. And where did you go to school?
I went to Syracuse.
Ain't that some shit? Now you got a Syracuse Orange grad who is a Duke Blue Devils fan. Who failed you? How did we get here?
Nobody failed me. Nobody failed me, okay? My fandom, my allegiance to Syracuse was not on the table when I was a 10-year-old looking at guys like Shane Battier, Chris Carrawell, Chris Duhon, Jason Williams, Mike Dunleavy, like
Grant Hill, none of them, huh?
Now Grant Hill too, but I'm talking about when I could remember shit. Yeah, Grant Hill, of course, right? Tommy Emiker, Johnny Dawkins, Chris Collins, Steve Wojciechowski. We can do it all day, right? Shane JJ Redick, but that's how it crumbles. Okay, that's how the cookie crumbles. And let me tell you something: when Syracuse plays Duke, I root for Syracuse, but I can't lose. I can't lose though. Can't lose.
I just needed to make sure that it was on the record that Chris is a Cuse alum who is cheering for Duke, and I need all of y'all to tear his mentions up for this because I can't believe what I'm hearing. Now, as someone who graduated from a Division II HBCU, Michigan State is my D1 school. You know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like I can do like this 2-school thing, but you gotta pick one. You gotta pick a side, Chris.
I do pick a side. I just told you. When Syracuse plays Duke, Duke fandom goes out the window, right? I root for Syracuse. I was there during the first Duke-Syracuse matchup in the Carrier Dome. I skipped out on a radio station gig, right, because they needed to come in and do the desk work. I was like, screw that. I'm not missing this historic game. And I was ecstatic by the finish and the fact that Syracuse came out on top. So I do pick sides, but I will never apologize for my excitement level about Dookie Nation. Okay?
That is hilarious. It's okay. We just had questions that needed answers. That's all, but now that we got that out the way, I will say that I agree with you. I think this is a great move for Duke. I'm sure UConn feels, like they had a really good opportunity here. I think Kansas was the other school that was in mention for Cooper Flagg. So I think it's great. I mean, 6'9". This is the first time Duke is going to actually have something to be excited about from a top recruit. They've got 5 or no, is it three top 5?
I think so. Yeah,
verbal commitments now. So I'm excited about what college basketball season is going to hold for this potential matchup. They ain't played nobody, Terrika. I'm excited for what this would look like next year, as he could be the person that really shifts this Duke team. I mean, we haven't really seen Duke be like a powerhouse in college basketball since a couple years before Coach K retired. So this does give Duke fans something to be excited about. I'm still gonna cheer for State though. Like, I don't care about what you.
Okay, you can go ahead and cheer for State and Tom Izzo.
But darn right, Tom Izzo gets it done I don't care what we look like in November, December. By the time we get to March, you can book that them Spartans is going to be right in the conversation.
They will be in the conversation, but that ain't going to win though. But hold up though. Hold up real quick. Hater. So when you said, I ain't no hater. Come on now. I am mad though about that loss. I think it was in 2008 or whatever, when y'all had Maurice Ager, Shannon Brown. We lost in the Sweet 16. Yeah, that was painful. But you know where I thought you were going with the whole Flagg situation, a Flagg name analogy? I thought you were going to say, what were we doing when you have this 6'9" white dude in a Duke Blue Devil jersey, I think, at Cameron Indoor, and he's got a pitchfork in his hand with a stone cold serious look, and the pitchfork is on fire. What? Like, who designed, bro? And then Slam Magazine, Love Slam, they're talking about pledge allegiance to the brotherhood. You gotta be careful when you're talking about pledge allegiance to what brotherhood?
They
right?
do got pledge allegiance to the brotherhood.
Like, come on now, that gives some racist vibes. Like,
listen,
they said.
I think Duke is the one team that could probably get away with this, only because they typically are the team that got the big white guys that play for them. Like, it's not uncommon to see
Christian Laettner.
You feel me? Grayson Allen. I mean, he ain't big, but he's a well-known, like that's the white guy school. So it's all good. I don't think that's why that didn't click, because I'm used to seeing the white dudes from Duke. But you're funny. That's
I'm just saying.
Funny.
They said he looked like he was at the Charlottesville and Unite the Right rally. I was just like, yo,
they are going way too far.
I was like, all right. But yeah, just the optics, like, come on, bro. But hey, it ain't hurt nobody. Just like you said, it speaks to Duke and who they are, their perception of them, and why so many people cannot stand them.
It's entirely true. But you know what? Just to put a bow on this conversation though, Chris, I'm really excited about the college basketball season that is upon us. Both men's and women's college basketball. The season is going to kick off next week. I know I am super thrilled about women's college basketball season because part of the reason that I am going to France, which I disclosed last episode, is because I'm going to see South Carolina and Notre Dame play each other to open their seasons, which is going to be so dope. I mean, just the thought of two Black women who have two of the top tier programs in the country facing off in a foreign country is just so exciting. I love this. When I've been telling people that I'm going to France to see a basketball game, people have been asking me like, why are they playing in France? And my question is, why not? Like, at the end of the day, why not? Like, playing college basketball is what is supposed to help open the door for opportunities. These may be kids who may never have an opportunity to go out of the country or to, play at this level, who have never gone out of the country before, whatever. So like, let them live. If this gives them an opportunity to experience a new culture in a new place, I'm 100% for it. I am well traveled, but I have never been to France before. So I'm excited about going. I can't wait to see these two teams. I know Olivia Miles is going to be back for Notre Dame. We've already gotten a glimpse of what this young South Carolina team looks like. So I'm excited. So I'm just excited in general for the college basketball season. That's going to be coming up. It's going to be a good one for sure. I think the momentum from last year's college basketball season riding into this year, and then coming off a great W season, to me, like, all of that is going to play a role in how dope this season can be.
Terrika, I need to know if you have an extra seat or extra ticket. Like, I'm trying to get into this game as well, because I know you already got the all-inclusive trip package that whichever company gave you high rolling.
Ain't nobody got no all-inclusive. This is all-inclusive out my wallet. So the extra ticket then went to the husband. They got the extra ticket.
Okay. I
But
heard you on it.
I'm excited. I'm excited about going. I can't wait. Women's college basketball season is about to be the bomb. And no, I ain't bringing you none back. So don't ask me for no cups, no shot glasses, no keychains.
Yo,
I'm just playing. I got you, Chris. I got you.
You got me? Okay.
I got you.
You know who's a hilarious lady like yourself? Asia Wilson, Sydney Colson, Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, and the Aces. They have been having the times of their lives after they won their second straight WNBA title. And let's just say last week, they got a show and then some.
I loved every minute of this. I loved it from the moment that Asia was calling for Usher. I loved it from the moment that Usher responded. And then you got Usher feeding you strawberries. Girl, did you learn nothing from Keke Palmer? Keke Palmer didn't show you how dangerous Usher can be. You like, you know what? I'm going to risk it all anyway. And you know what, Asia? I ain't mad at you, girl. I'd have risked it all for him to feed me some strawberries too. Because that was the
best. the fact you could tell she was so nervous, right? Because she didn't want to get her white outfit dirty. Because you got the chocolate and strawberries and stuff. She's trying to cover her mouth, try to make it all, polite and discreet. And then you see Chelsea over there just grinning from ear to ear, egging her on. Like, ooh. And then you see Jackie Young posting the story, and then of course she stopped it. I think once Usher's leg went up or something, when they got a little intimate. Probably the best part though is when they brought him up stage and they just went off, and then Sydney's getting on all fours, and Chelsea's out there with her boot. Kia Stokes is like, these damn boots have a lot of mileage, Terrika. They have a lot of mileage. I just love the fact that we got this moment, because it's probably better than him showing up at the parade. And I love Usher is such a great performer, because in that performance, it's like, yeah, I saw you tweeting about like.
Yeah. I love it. He definitely said that when he changed the words to I saw you tweet when he was singing "There Goes My Baby." Yeah.
Yeah, there goes my baby.
I love it. I'm here for all of the Aces post-win content. Like, their content team has been amazing. So shout out to Chris and them for what they do on the social media angle. They're just enjoying, I think they're just projecting what we've seen all season, which is them enjoying each other as a team in defeat and in victory. And it ain't been that many defeats. So love it. I love what they're doing. I'm a fan. I am a fan. I mean, I'm a Connecticut fan too, obviously, but
right.
I am a fan of I'm just a fan of the Aces, a fan of what they do, and a fan of their camaraderie together. And ride this wave until next May, when it's time to defend your 2-time championship.
What is going to happen if they win a third straight title, which is quite realistic,
Dynasty conversation.
I'm not even talking about dynasty conversation. I'm talking about what the hell are they going to do to top this parade performance and then the Usher celebration.
I don't know. By that time, Vegas is gonna be so super prepared for all of these parades that they keep having that ain't no telling. And I know I got an opportunity to meet Deandra Duggan. She's their vice president of brand marketing. I know she's gonna come up with something crazy, because Black women, that's what we do. We just continue to outdo what we already did. So that right there is the best way to drop the mic on this pod, okay? Because that's nothing but truth. But continue to support us. Continue to look out for what we're doing. You can find us on social at the 3on3 Pod on Instagram. You can find us at the 3on3 Pod on Twitter. And Chris, he's on all social. Terrika, I'm on all social. Didi is also on all social everywhere. So definitely make sure that you continue to share our content, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And you can listen to the 3on3 podcast on iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast. I am going to be absent for episode 4, but it's all good because I know my boy Chris gonna hold it down. So until the next time, friends, peace out.